welcome to Don Esteban's Perplexing and Often Confused Ramblings. I'm Don Esteban, heading home. Come for a ride. If you remember last time, I told you I've been reading series. And, you know, there wasn't much point in telling you about book 10 if you hadn't read book 1 through 9. So, I got another series to tell you about. This is an older one, and unfortunately, the author of it has passed away. So this series is complete. It's 21 books, and it's the Aubrey Maturin series by Patrick O'Brien. The first book, the book you start with, is Master and Commander. And you may remember the movie Master and Commander, Far Side of the World. That's actually taken mostly from book 10. The jokes came from all the way across the whole series. I mean, they took jokes from every book out of the series for it. But the plot line came from book 10. This is book 1, Master and Commander. It starts out with a Lieutenant Aubrey in a round drawing room, listening to the music and tapping his foot to the beat. And the small scrub-like man sitting beside him in a black coat, took exception to that because, well, it's a faux pas to be tapping your foot to the music. You really shouldn't say pom 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 with the music, even when the music went pom 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 pom. But, well, Aubrey likes music, so what can we say? Anyway, he goes from what should have been a marvelous evening at a concert to looking at potentially having a duel, and he gets his new orders. He was given command of a small sloop, a ship of war. The whole setting for this is Napoleon era. I believe it starts in 1798. I know it's before the Peace of Amiens. So he takes command of his first ship, the sloop HMS Sophie, 14 guns, 4-pounders, and he promptly raises hell through the whole Mediterranean, taking prizes and frustrating the enemy and generally being a king's officer. It's a good story. And the man in the black coat turns out to be a doctor, a real doctor, not just a naval surgeon. And he's between work because the patient he came to the Mediterranean with died. And, well, he didn't have any work after that. And he's a lover of music. One plays the violin, the other the cello. So he agreed to go as a guest on the Sophie. And the two of them sailed and they got along well. And so then Aubrey made Maturin the surgeon of the Sophie. And they became best friends. So I guess they started their relationship by a promise of shooting each other's brains out, and became very close as brothers by the end of the series. Well, I got a slow person in front of me, but that's alright. I screwed up. I got back on this road when I wasn't going to. Oh well, anyway. So I'm going to recommend this book, and if you don't know anything about sailing, that's alright. because a lot of the sailing stuff is looked at from the doctor's point of view, and he doesn't know anything about sailing. So everybody explains it to him. Now, you're going to have to learn some terms. It's just the way it is. Especially if you're going to read the whole series, you're going to have to learn some of the nautical terms they use. But they explain the terms, and then, you know, they expect you to remember them. So, and then there's also the terms that you can just look up. And you just look them up and you find out what they mean, and okay, now you got that term. It's really good, educational. The Aubrey Maturin series is actually historically fairly accurate because he pulled his information from ship's logs, from letters that the sailors wrote, from records, official and unofficial records made during that time, and all the battles that Aubrey Maturin fight in their ships. The battles actually happened, and they happened usually pretty close to what he describes. Like he pointed out, not every battle is exactly how it is recorded by one person, because the person on the deck above you can see different things than you're seeing, and the battle may look differently from them. So yeah, it's interesting. It's a really good read, and it's not so much a book about sailing. It's not so much a book about war, although there is sailing in there, both technical and just the general, we put up the sails and went on down the road, you know, whatever. They have technical sailing in there. There's also war in there, a lot of it, both physical hand-to-hand, cannons looking over the sights of cannons, and the political warfare of a secret agent intent on taking down Napoleon's forces. So there is a lot of both of those in there, but this book isn't really about, or the series isn't really about that. It's really about people and a very small environment where people are living on top of each other, and they are not all angels, and they're not perfect, and they get on each other's nerves, and sometimes they get offensive at each other and snappish, and some are drunk, and some are over pious, and just life, real people. And I can't praise these books enough. You can't. It's just, this is a series you should read. And the series is the Aubrey Maturin series. If you read it in audiobook, you want the Patrick Tull narrator, because he just brings it alive. But any which way you read it, you want the Aubrey Maturin series. It starts with Master and Commander